this card in Africa. It's 6:30 a.m. my time here Thursday morning. I thought I was gonna wake up and this card for Africa was gonna be done. There's still like 3 or 4 fights left till Glanton Brown. I have it on the zone. I don't know if some of the boys are playing it in the Discord, so I'm checking. So I also got a new device, so I'm trying to figure that out. I'm waiting on a new tripod. So this is actually a new device. It's the newest Apple iPad. So they said it's great for streaming. We'll see. I still got to get used to it. You guys are used to seeing me about this much higher, but my tripod hasn't come yet. So guys, if you haven't joined the Discord, the link is pinned in the comment section below. On our channel, the Stats Don't Lie videos, my fight prediction videos, I just uploaded Nathanial Collins versus Cristobal Lorente. I gave you guys my breakdown. I gave you guys my analysis and prediction. I will be doing, there's a lot of fights that just opened up on the betting apps. So wherever you are in the world, let me know where you're checking in at. The Daniel Barrera fight is new. Kane Sandoval is new. Zambikov is new. Iwata is new. Steve Collins Jr. You guys from the UK will recognize that name. Alex Arthur, Cecilia Brækhus. Yeah, there's a lot of fights, guys. There's a lot of fights from fighters you guys have probably never heard of, which is fine. What's your pick, mate, for main event? What's up, Lloyd? How's it going, brother? My pick for the main event in Africa, I wasn't able to do any I wasn't able to give you guys a Stats Don't Lie video, but I put it up in the Discord. And let me just double check. I have Marcus Brown on the money line. I got him at $2.80. Some of the boys were playing the, after I watched the media day, the press conference yesterday, dissecting both guys' resumes. And you guys know, going into the CBS fight, I'm high on Brandon Glanton. It's just that Brown, I feel, hasn't been the most active. From what I saw in the press conference, he looks motivated. He's only a year older than Glanton. I think he does the better work. I think he's classier with his game. Glanton will have the power advantage. I give the skills and boxing advantage to Brown, and you give me him at plus 280. Specifically, you give me Brown at plus 280. You mix that with the fact that Glanton in his last outing against Chris Billum Smith didn't really show us too much. He showed us kind of one speed. He showed us one sort of level. And I think that Brown, for even taking this fight was supposed to be against Rocky Felding. So Brown took it on short notice. He obviously saw something that he likes, and that's where my money's at. Why? Who are you guys going with? What's up, boxing fan? Boxing fans in the house. I need to get my tripod. This thing's kind of just sitting there. So this fight is Adenji versus Ampia. Like I said, these fights, these Africa cards always take forever, mate. So Adenji versus Ampia. Yeah, there's this fight, there's the next fight, and then there's Glanton and Brown. It's all good, Lloyd. Appreciate the support. Shout out to PJ. So as you guys are tuning in on the live stream, PJ has been a daily member of our live stream. He just joined the Discord, so finally we got PJ to turn over. He's in our private betting Discord. Everybody who sees him in there, welcome him with open arms. I actually have Lloyd. I actually have action on Samuel Tacky too. So I did a little two-leg method of victory parlay. Yeah, boxing fan, I ordered one. I appreciate you, brother. I ordered it's a really nice one for this version of the iPad. So it's bigger, and it's coming in the mail today. So we'll get there. I'm trying to step up. And I was up for like 2 hours yesterday trying to figure out how to, let's say, the boys and I on the live stream are talking about these picks, trying to figure out how to cut that screen in half again. I know you guys have sent me the tutorial over and over, but I was doing the tutorial on how to share a screen in a live stream on YouTube using like the app. What's the app called you guys told me about? StreamYard. I was doing it, but then my microphone wasn't on. So I got to figure stuff out. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. You know, I just went from the new iPhone to stream with. Now I have the newest iPad. And I was going to get, you know, I'm getting a new laptop. But all the guys I talked to, the tech guys, they said the newest iPad for streaming is legit. I'm all about saving money on budgets without comfort. I like you, Boxing Fantasy. You're efficient, brother. So, yeah, we have some action on, like I said, depending on where you guys are, if you guys, what app you're using, there's a lot of action. This fight already looks club level. Is anybody watching? Is anybody watching the DAZN card right now? Because this isn't looking. And we had Japan last night. Japan was there were Japan cards last night, and it was super mid-level, maybe club level. And I went to bed. Glanton getting the stoppage. Keelan there's a good opportunity. Yeah, the undercard is poor. Bro, it's bad, Lloyd. It's bad. To your point, one of the boys said Glanton's getting the stoppage. That, if you guys are on Glanton, that's his fight style. Pressure forward, never takes a back step. He actually has cardio, and he can crack. And we broke down the Brandon Glanton versus Chris Smith fight before it happened and when we were live streaming it. And I think that the biggest mistake Brandon Glanton made against Smith was that he underestimated Smith's toughness, and I think he kind of, I don't want to say he gassed out, but he didn't pace himself. Everything was front foot. And, you kind of want him to see, you want to see a guy like that at the world level not just pace themselves, but like throw punches in different speeds too. Everything from Glant is, all gas, no brakes. Sometimes you have to change tempo and change speed to get your opponent to walk onto something. He wasn't doing any of that. So what we have also, I want to go, Willie Hutchinson, guys. I uploaded the Willie Hutchinson versus Mark Jeffers video. Yeah, these guys punch in, man. No shade on them, but these undercard fights are pretty insane. I'm staying a million. Yeah, bro. Adu. This shit is wild. Are you watching it? Adu is referring to the last Amir Khan card where the stream cut out. Glanton was supposed to be on the stream. The main event were those two sort of like club level guys at 122 pounds. They went life and death. It was a shit show. The stream kept cutting out. DAZN scraped it from their platform. And this isn't that good, guys. Adu, are you watching it right now? If you guys have DAZN, it's not. I mean, you got both men throwing. There's certain sort of techniques you look at that you could kind of gauge a level of a fighter in terms of their punch placement or how it's thrown. Both guys are just pushing their backhand, leading with their head like that. I'm gonna say a headbutt's coming. Lloyd must watch the Japan boxing than this man. Yeah, Japanese fighting is at the highest level. It's one of my favorite places to watch boxing. The Japanese cards, 100%, Lloyd. I agree. Bro, I'm at work. Good boy, make that money. Yeah. Hopefully this Glanton fight or even the co-main starts, because I got about 50 minutes. I'm just gonna leave the live stream on. This has been a super slow week, guys. The live stream, I'm usually averaging about 50 people on the live. We got 8 people, but it's all good. You guys know if you're here long enough, I don't do it for the numbers. I do it for the love of the game. So wherever you're at, tap in. Let me know if you're watching. Let me know if you have any questions about the upcoming fights. We got, like I said, Nathanial Collins, Willie Hutchinson. Both of my breakdown prediction videos are up on the channel. And then there's a 50-50 fight you guys have been asking me about. Kilamos, who do you have? Who do you have, Bud versus Crawford? Bud is Crawford, mate. I think you're talking about, Canelo versus Crawford. Yeah, Crawford's my favorite fighter, by the way. You see the photo of Dave Allen, mate? Yeah, Lloyd, he did. I'm leaning on Dave Allen. Guys, I'm going live tomorrow. I don't, a lot of you guys on the channel who are here all the time will know who Chilltown Boxing is. If you're on X, you'll definitely know Chilltown Boxing. Chilltown and I will be going live tomorrow. We're going to be breaking down some of the fights this weekend. We're going to be talking about that Arslanbek Dave Allen fight as well, amongst other fights. October is a big month. November is a big month. This is kind of the calm before the storm once again. And the one thing that you guys can expect when you come to my channel, we're all boxing all the time. So if you guys didn't know that, that's what you'll get here. Did you get lucky after that bird shit on you? No, man. I guess luck is to the eye of the beholder, right? My girlfriend said it was lucky. I didn't feel lucky. And the craziest thing is I've been shit on. The first time I got shit on by a bird, it was 2005. I was 23 in Long Beach. I got shit on a bird in Long Beach, and then a year later I got shit on again. And then this was the first time I got shit on in like 20 years. You meant Canelo, guessing you picked Bud. No. Bud's my favorite fighter. I picked Canelo. Which is fucked up. I won $500 after I got. There you go, boxing fan. So, boxing fan, you're telling me you got shit on, and then you were like, "I'm gonna go bet." Is that what you said? Is that kind of what you mean? Or like because you got shit on, it triggered you to go place a bet? Johnny, did you watch some playoff? Yeah, just now too. Let's get it. I'm a Cleveland Indians fan, Cleveland Guardians. So we were Cleveland, obviously to make the playoffs. They were 15 and a half games out of the playoff race September 1st. They obviously went on this historic run. Last game of the season, they won the division, and then they started a 3-game wild card series with Detroit, the rivals. Yesterday they got, I think, 4 hit by Cristobal, one of the best in the game, and we lost by a run. We had a runner on third too, with no outs, and couldn't get him in. And then today it was 1-1 in the 8th. I had to coach a client earlier, and then after my session I checked and we won 6-1. So it's 1-1 going into Detroit. Anything could happen. Cleveland's offense needs to wake up though. I know they scored 6 runs. 5 of them were in the eighth inning. They just haven't been hitting the ball. Hopefully what we saw in the 8th is a sign of good things to come. Let's get it. Who's your baseball team? Boxing fan. My buddy said it was lucky and give me a scratch up. I don't play it. Nice, dude. You have a good friend. Keela tripped out. Can't call Bud your favorite. Yeah, he is. He's still my favorite. Keela? Bud's my favorite fighter of this era. Just because he's my favorite fighter doesn't mean I'm going to bet on him. See, that's something that I always talk about on my channel. You know, I recognize you on my channel. You know, you've been here before, but you know, just because I'm a fan of a fighter doesn't mean I'm going to bet on him. I always try to come with logical reasoning, film study. I got to be honest with you. I didn't expect Crawford to be able to handle Canelo like that, especially with all the things on paper. You know, the fight at 168, Crawford only having one fight at 54, him being a pretty much natural 147 guy. Canelo being younger than him, and I wasn't buying all the Canelo is shot. I just wasn't expecting Bud's timing, his counters, his ability to control where the fight was going on, Canelo not being able to hit Bud clean, Canelo not being able to hurt Bud, and then that adjustment Crawford made in the 4th round, how the first 4 rounds of that fight were exciting. I was talking about it on my live stream, how the first 4 rounds were like 2 master technicians at work trying to figure each other out. There wasn't a lot of action, but the games within the game, it was high level stuff. And then somewhere around the 5th to 6th round, Crawford kept moving in, and you know, cutting the distance. And by the 7th round, you saw Crawford really comfortable, staying right in the pocket. I like what he did with his guard and his stance. He usually will go a little bit higher with his split stance from southpaw, but he was wide base and he was seeing everything. And that's something that you know, I thought was his best attribute was his vision. Bud's vision in the pocket, mate, Jesus, seeing everything and his anticipation of punches, and then you mix that with Bud's speed, his countering ability, and his just overall skill set. And, sometimes guys are just better than their opponent. And Bud Crawford proved once again he's the best in the world. But in terms of betting money, I've been accused multiple times on this channel back in the day of being a Bud Crawford fanboy, even though, going into the Errol Spence Jr. fight, I was cheering for Errol, but I bet on Bud. So in my breakdown of EJ versus Crawford, I told you guys my heart's with EJ, but I'm betting all my money on Crawford. And then from that point on, from 2023 July, people were trying to say I was a Crawford fanboy, which I'm not. I'm just a fan of how he operates. And he proved me wrong, man. Last time I'm going to bet against him. I think the question is now, what does Crawford do moving forward? You know what I mean? That's a fun conversation to have. That's a chat that we could talk about if you want. Rambler, do you think Eddie Hall is fat? Eddie Hall is a power lifter. He's definitely not. I mean, fit. Rambler, fit isn't what? You know what I mean? Could he run a 10K? No. Has he been on some enhancements? Of course. Yeah. That type of fitness, it's strength related. White Sox, Chi-Town. Let's get it. My favorite, one of my favorite players as a kid was Frank Thomas. Big Hurt. One of the best to ever do it. What's your thoughts on Gary Russell? You mean not Russell Jr. You mean Gary Antoine Russell? I think are you talking about Gary Russell Jr. or Gary Antoine Russell? Because we just saw Gary Russell Jr. fight. You're talking about the champion at 140? That's GAR. Yeah, you're talking about GAR. If you're talking about Gary Antoine, you gotta, boys, yeah, that's GAR. He's fighting Andy Hiroka. That's a hell of a fight, guys. Yeah, there's 3 active Gary Russells right now. There's Gary Russell Jr., the older brother with, in my opinion, the fastest hands in boxing. And then there's Gary Antoine, or Gary Antonio Russell, who just fought. He's kind of the lesser known. And then my favorite is Gary Antoine Russell, who, I call GAR. He's the champion at 140. He's the guy who, looked amazing against Rayo Valenzuela. And he's fighting Andy Hiroka. Andy Hiroka is not a household name at 140, but Andy Hiroka is a problem. You guys got to remember, going into the Brian Norman Jr. fight against Jin Sasaki, Sasaki was, pretty much, he had 1 loss, and he was a knockout artist. And Sasaki's only loss was to Hiroka, and Hiroka could crack. So that's who Gary's fighting. That fight's in Miami, 2nd week in November. Let's go, dude. I love this fight for both guys. Hiroka's 24-0 with 19 knockouts. It's not very often, guys, GAR goes into a fight the shorter guy. But on paper, especially, fighting at 140, on paper, Hiroka's listed as taller than him. So we're going to, and they're both southpaws. This is a fun fight. Hiroka's listed at 5'11.5" with a 74-inch reach. And Gary's listed at 5'10" with a 69-inch reach. So if these stats are legit, Hiroka's going to be the taller guy with a 5-inch reach advantage. Both guys are southpaws. This is guys, this is a fire fight. Did you ever take HGH when you... Nah. Did I ever take HGH, and what do you think causes roid gut? Yeah, Rambler, if you follow my Instagram, Rambler, I'm a coach first, and at 43 years old, I pride and have always prided myself on not taking anything. I don't take any supplements. I drink, the only supplements I ever took was in college, playing baseball, creatine, protein powders. You got to understand, I graduated high school 2000. My freshman year of college was 2001. This was kind of like the guinea pig generation of over-the-counter supplements from GNC. The big one was GNC. So our coaches would give us like creatine, fish oils, protein powders, and what was another big one? Ephedra, which got banned, which was like crack. But in terms of like, exogenous hormones or exogenous anabolics, hell no. I always prided myself on not having to do it. A lot of the guys that I grew up around were always on it, and they knew I wasn't the one to talk to about it because I would shame them. When I was younger, guys, I was a bit of a dickhead, especially in my 20s. If I was, competing against guys who are on steroids, I'd call them straight to their face a cheater. I'd be like, you guys are cheating because, psychologically you're missing something. So have I ever taken human growth hormone? No. And, one of the, I used to be a Joe Rogan OG. I remember listening to Joe Rogan back in 2010. And then I stopped listening to Joe Rogan somewhere around maybe 2020, 2021. I haven't listened to him in years. But one thing that always bothered me about Rogan is how he always normalized taking human growth hormone, and how he always shamed, like the dude would shame guys like fitness influencers who are on steroids. But Rogan was a known, and he would talk about it, he was a known HGH user, but he would kind of frame it around just because he would go to the doctor and he'd have a doctor administer it. He would frame it like he was in the right and like this self-righteous guy. It's like, bro, you got a junk gut too. You know what I'm saying? Look at it. You could tell guys who are, on the steroids gear. Also, another thing with anabolics, guys get sort of like gyno, so their nipples. So if ever you see a guy who looks jacked, a test is obviously their skin complexion. Under here, their skin, if it's like acne. And then when their shirt's off, if their nipples are like kind of saggy, you could tell they've been on the gear before. At 43, mate, that boat sailed. What time is the Glenn Brown fight? This fight is awful. Adu. The co-main is up next, and Glant Brown is after, so 2 more fights. Mar the Prince in the house. Holla. Ohio. How about them Indians, boy? How about them Guardians? Brown gonna box circles. Hey, Julius, man, I'm on board with you, bro. Julius, you sold me yesterday during our live stream, and in the chat as well in our Discord. So I'm on Brown too, brother. Shout out to Julius. Julius, perfect example of why you gotta love our Discord, because we don't always have to agree, and it's always love. Hiroka will definitely come to fight. This will likely be do or die for Andy. Yeah. Yeah, this would be do or die. I mean, what do you mean? You think that this is? You think that Hiroka, if he goes out there and lays an egg, I don't know, man. If Hiroka, I think Hiroka could still lose. He's gonna fight how he always fights. He's gonna fight valiantly. How old is he now? You're right, man. He's a 13-year pro. I didn't realize he has to be in his 30s, right? How old's Andy Hiroka? Yeah, he's in his 30s. His box rec doesn't have it. Yeah, Julius got he's in the Discord. GAR going to school Hiroka. Hiroka never fought an opponent with, Johnny, how do you feel about Russell's fight with Andy? Joseph P. in the house. Yeah, we've been talking about GAR versus Hiroka. Gary Antoine Russell is, man, in the top 5 of my favorite champions in any, in all the divisions, without, in no particular order. When I think about who are my favorite active world champions, yeah, Julius has to re-sign up. Guys, we have 35 people in our Discord who need to re-sign up to the membership. Just saying. I need to figure out how to govern this. But to get to my point about, when I think about my favorite champions, if I list 5 in no particular order, Bam Rodriguez is obviously up there. Crawford, Junto, Inoue, GAR. There's a few. I always put Gary Antoine Russell, though. He's always at the top of my list. I love watching him operate. I love his skill. I like the pedigree he has. I like his execution of a game plan. I like the adjustment he made from the Alberto Puello fight to the Rayo Valenzuela fight. I mean, if you rewatch that Alberto Puello fight, he jumped out on top first 4 rounds, maybe even 5 rounds. You could have scored it 3-2, 4-1 for GAR. And then I don't know if he started fading or in traditional Alberto Puello fashion, Puello started getting GAR to box his fight and, have GAR chase him and fight him on the outside and, Puello just methodically boxed his way back into the fight. GAR, his output was down mid to the late rounds. And, I still had Gary Antoine Russell winning that fight, by the way. But the judges didn't agree. And the adjustment, my point was, from that fight to the Rayo Valenzuela fight. Now, granted, Rayo and Puello, two different style fighters. And so when you think about that, guys, we must bring this up. We've only seen Antoine Russell struggle with guys who are going to be using the entire ring, backing up, throwing counters, forcing their opponent to come get him. When we've seen Gary Antoine Russell against guys who are on their front foot trying to fight him, whoa. So I think, and that's what Hiroka is going to do. I think Andy Hiroka is tailor-made for Gary Antoine Russell. I'm very excited about this fight. Very, very excited about this fight. Palumboism, truly disgusting. The gut, is that, Rambler, I used to interview bodybuilders. I've interviewed Palumbo before on my show. I'm mates with Jay Cutler. So in my second book, Jay Cutler's in my latest book. I've interviewed Frank, he's an OG. I went through a phase of interviewing a lot of bodybuilders. Sup, David? I haven't had a notification about renewing my membership. I sent you. Yeah, Brandon, Brandon, the way the membership is set up is I have it linked through YouTube. So if you have your YouTube, obviously, Brandon, you have your card linked to YouTube, it just goes over. And now, so now, boxing fan is hilarious. So now my question, boys, Brandon and boxing fan, because I have all the boys on YouTube who are rolling the membership over, which is how it's set up, if I were to start a renewal service in Discord, do I just cancel the Discord and restart it? I'll do a poll. I'll do Gary from 3D style, and I'll ask everybody a poll. But we got to get into it. What happened to your mic? It's a new. I have a new device, Adu. What happened to your mic? More echoey today. Yeah, I have a new device. I'm waiting to get my my tripod too. So renewing the monthly renewal is how you guys signed up here, by the way. So if you remember, you join as a Johnny Says Boxing Insider on YouTube through your Google payment. And then once you join, you get the link to get to the Discord. That's how I did it. But looking back, Victor, we get Victor signed up, boy. Victor Manuel Vallejo, 99 backup. Victor, welcome to the Discord. You've been on the chat for a while. We appreciate you. I'll get you the link sent to you. Guys, this Africa card is not looking too tasty, boys. We got 2 more fights. Does anybody have action on the main event or on the co-main? So we got Samuel Taki. He's fighting next against Fatou Jomani. I mean, and then we got Marcus Brown versus Brandon Glenn. Yeah, so the reason why it's echoing, I usually use this device, this iPhone. I bought the newest iPad now, and I'm waiting to get the tripod, which is sent to me in the mail. And then we'll see if the mic's set up. Is anyone else watching the African fights, boys? What are your thoughts on this? So also to give you a heads up what to expect today, I am going to put up, I'm going to upload another video today. If you guys are looking at the odds and you want me to do a breakdown, it's already Thursday. I think I'm going to do Regan Glacken versus Louis O'Doherty. It's a 50-50 fight. On paper, Regan Glacken $1.96, Louis O'Doherty's $1.96. Ray, I salute Johnny because at least he's natty unlike most of Hollywood. Who are we talking about? Who's Natty? Yeah, there's not a lot of Natty cats out here, mate. The stream is part of my auto. Yeah, boxing fan. That's exactly what happens. And Brandon's card must be on file too, because it just rolls over. It was the easiest way to set it up. Julius, look up Gratis. Yeah, we've watched. Yeah, Julius, we've watched Gratis fight before. Gratis is from one of those Euro countries. His little daughter walks him out. We've talked about Gratis. He just fought this past weekend. He might be what, Lithuanian, one of those countries. Mar, he doesn't seem to be much of a priority to Japanese promoters, likely due to being a half Japanese. He spoke on this. GAR gonna have to be on point. Oh, he's half Japanese. He does look half Japanese. Facts. Same box event. It's only $5. Yeah, guys, it's only $5, man. And you guys, more importantly, you join the community. You join the community. You help me out, and I feel the community trumps everything. By the way, Mar, this is going to sound, and part of my ignorance on this serious question is Hiroka, because his box rec says, and I've never heard him to give interviews. It says he's born and raised in Japan. But he does look half. Does he speak English? I want to put something on Brown, but damn, can't even remember his last fight. Yeah, he hasn't fought in a while, Adu. Boxing fan, I'll promote you. Joseph, do you think the Eubank versus Ben fight goes the distance? I think Ben can make some adjustments there, by the way. I try to follow you on Instagram, keep it relocating me, but I joined your Facebook group. Make sure you're spelling my name right, Victor. My Instagram is just JONNYSTOFKO. But somebody brought up the Conor Ben, Chris Eubank Jr. rematch. I didn't like that first fight, guys. I got to be honest. It's not like, after the first fight, it's not like I was sitting here like, I can't wait for a rematch. Was it exciting? Yeah. Was it high-level problem-solving? No. Was it fan-friendly? Yeah. When I was watching, though, is both guys getting hit way too much. And, from a technical side, I like fighters like, Jermaine Ortiz I like watching Jermaine Ortiz fight, the technician. I really enjoy watching Shakur Stevenson fight. I like technicians. So, watching guys slug it out, it's fun. But you got to understand, man, when your name's Eubank Jr. and Ben, and you know the history of the fathers, and, the fights that are linked to the dads, the brutality of the sport. And so watching that first fight, I'm just like, damn, dude, these guys got hit way too much cleanly in the head for the sake of ego, pretty much. So with that being said, I wasn't too stoked to see it again. Because in my head, I'm watching two younger guys take years off their life expectancy. And, call me whatever you want to call me. But when they announced it, I'm like, I feel Conor Ben could make more adjustments. I feel Chris Eubank Jr., who we saw, that's who he is. I think Conor Ben has the speed. I thought he had the skill advantage to be able to box more. I'd expect Conor Ben to box this time rather than just slug it out, or at least pick his spots a little bit better. But we'll see. David, am I missing something with Collins, Lorente? The more footage I watch, you like Lorente. So I gotta disagree, man. The more I did the upload with Lorente. The more I watch with Lorente, I don't like, I just don't like his basic offensive artillery. I don't like his limited options. I don't like his feet. I don't like his speed. More importantly, though, when you have a guy like Lorente who utilizes his jab to open the door on his other punches, he gets caught in a lot of these situations where he throws his jab, but he doesn't put anything behind it, and he's out on his front foot. He gets caught out of position, leaving that jab out there here, and when he's fighting against a guy in Collins who is going to have the hand speed advantage. I talked about this before. I really like Nathaniel Collins' timing on his counters. I think that just because he doesn't have a high knockout to win ratio, that doesn't always equate to a guy not having power. A lot of times that has a lot to do with, sort of confidence, risk taking. Some guys who don't have a lot of knockouts, yeah, they don't have a lot of power. I think Collins has more power than his knockout to win ratio suggests. And I mean, I think he's going to handle Lorente everywhere. I got to be honest with you. You mix that with the fact that it's in Scotland. This is a very proud fighting town, and I like what I saw. I like what I saw in his last fight against McGregor. And if you watch Lorente's last fight, he fought to a draw against Gill, and the scorecards were all over the place too. One of the judges had it, I think, 97, something crazy. Like gave 6 rounds to Gill, and then the other, one of the judges, tipped Lorente plus 1 round, and then the other judge had it even, so it was a split draw. But I don't know, man. I didn't see anything on Lorente that shows me a path to victory. What do you see on it, David? How do you see Lorente beating him? Glacken is now plus money on one book. I took Doherty back when he was still plus money. Yeah, Brand, I'm going to upload my tape on that. That's my next Stats on Live video. Someone tried to accuse me of being on roids once. Thing was, he wasn't that big before trying to get... Rambler. I mean, life's too short to be accusing people of anything. I believe he could speak conversationally English, but not... Oh, he's Japanese and Ghana, from Ghana. What a mix. That's a cool mix, man. From Japan and Ghana. Yeah, he has a really unique look about him, and he carries himself. That makes a lot of sense, man. Like I said, Eddie Roca, this is an electric matchup. It's a fun fight. I think Hiroka's gonna jump out on him early. I think that's gonna be his game plan. He's gonna want to come out and jump on him early. Guys, we're 37 minutes in. Let's like this video. Not a busy stream today. I didn't expect it, but there's only, we're floating between, 18 and 30, and only 6 of you like the video. So do that for me. Just hit a thumbs up. We got the co-main about to go down here in Africa. There's 2 fights left in Africa. If you guys are watching on DAZN, let me know. This is Samuel Taki. Most hardcore thing I did was create. Yeah. Well, creatine. So, I've been podcasting since 2015, and I'm a strength and conditioning coach. Creatine has been studied. It's one of the only supplements that has been linked with scientific studies to improve strength. Probably because it's naturally occurring. Creatine. It's not exogenous. You have it in small dosages. It's also found in animal meat. But an interesting study. And this was all from Chris Algieri. So Chris Algieri is a nutritionist, not only a former world champion boxer. In one of my most recent interviews with Chris, and then Dr. Andy Galpin as well. Andy Galpin, he's a professor of exercise physiology, I think kinesiology at Cal State Fullerton. Galpin has been on Rogan multiple times. He did this long-term study on the effects of microdosing creatine in brain health, specifically from athletes who have had brain trauma. Combat athletes, American football players, any sort of, maybe somebody who was in a motorcycle crash. So microdosing creatine on a daily helps with brain synapses and activity, and more importantly, it helps lubricate the brain. So that's something to look into. Creatine is multifaceted. Julius, I agree. Victor, Johnny, my guy. We got Victor with the blue star, man. That looks good on you. Victor with the blue star looks good on you. Yeah, Julius, I feel you. Julius, do you think at one time Marcus Brown was world level, though? You know what I mean? What do you guys think about that? Do you think that goddamn Japanese card was atrocious? Did you see Jersey Vargas? No, Mark, I didn't even see it. And it just disappeared off of BoxRec 2. This is why these cards in Africa, with Amir Khan's name attached to it, they're always suspect. It's almost like they purposefully will put names on it. Do you remember last time? Glanton's name was on the BoxRec, didn't fight. And Jersey Vargas, I didn't see him. And his opponent isn't even announced. Yeah, so Marcus Brown would have been world level, right? Vargas fought. He won. Okay. Shout out to Manny R with the heads up. So guys, this is the co-main going down right now. The fighters are about to be called out. This is Samuel Taki. He's 7-0. Guys, this is for a youth title. Please tell me you don't have action on this. Samuel Taki versus Jamoni. One's 7-0. One's 11-0. This is for a youth title. Please tell me you don't have action on this. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up because I have to coach. I'm going to go live again today. We're going to chat about this. We're going to chat about this again today in a couple hours. Dan Aziz is funny. The best thing about the Japanese cards is the retro rock guitar tunes they play during the events. Yeah, they have a different vibe. Boxing's international though, boys. Guys, thanks to all the new subscribers. Hit a thumbs up. Not the busiest stream, but we're all good. I'll be back in a couple hours. I'm going to be uploading a new Stats Done Live video. Watch my breakdown of